Hello again, Tom.
Good afternoon, Paul. Another month has flown by, hasn't it?
It really
Um,
has. It really has. But at least we have a roadmap now, don't we?
we do, and actually, the most important feature of that roadmap is getting more interviews out there. So
Yes,
I'd really encourage anyone watching our monthly updates. If you've not been interviewed, please, please, please volunteer to be interviewed. Whether you're from one of our partner schools or just an interested bystander, please get in touch. Everyone's got a story. Everyone's opinions and experiences is of interest and equally valid. People considering their career options today can learn from the path that other people took before them. So please, please, please drop us a line if you'd like to volunteer to be interviewed.
absolutely, absolutely. The most important thing on our channel in the whole of People on Work are the people. And it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter how long you've done it for, it doesn't matter what you did before, and it doesn't matter what you go on to do afterwards. Exactly as Tom said, your answer to our three golden questions, which are what do you like about your work? How did you start out? And what would you say to someone starting out today? Your answer always helps somebody, or always has the potential to help somebody who watches your interview. And that's why we'll never turn an interview away, and we always want more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, well, especially as we're coming out of lockdown slowly. My kids are back to school next week, which
Yeah.
is quite a relief that they won't have to suffer our homeschooling anymore. Not, my wife's done a terrific job, and I've made I've tried to contribute as best as I can, but lockdown has particularly affected schools and particularly affected our ability to reach out to schools and
Yeah.
recruit alumni to contribute to our playlists. This week is National Careers Week, so we're beginning the rollout with Great Torrington School. Paul, am I right in thinking the first video's going live very shortly?
First one went live today.
Oh, it was
A lady called Jane Poole, who's a photographer, who's
excellent.
a former student of Great Torrington School. And yeah, so she's our first video published in National Careers Week 2021, first respondent from Great Torrington School. She's now the first video on our channel.
Excellent. Well done, Jane. There's two more that I'll be interviewing tomorrow from
Brilliant.
Great Torrington, and hopefully, there'll be many more after that. Um, the I think it's what the theme for me for February has been about talking to, obviously this, our two big, well, the big stakeholder are schools and people that are willing to contribute interviews, but there's a bit of an ecosystem around us and in the career space that I think we've begun to have some really interesting discussions with. People that have spotted us or we've spotted them
Yeah.
and reached out. But I've been talking to a couple of trade associations this month that are that are either in industries that are not particularly visible.
Mm.
So it's not, unless you knew someone or
Yeah.
your dad works in, or brother works in that particular industry, it's not an industry that would trip off the tongue.
No. No. Yeah.
Or industries that have got perhaps a poor reputation for sort of working conditions or career progression, but actually offer many directions and many career paths through them. So
Mm.
it's interesting how how trade associations actually might be our route into some really interesting content in very much hard to find work.
Absolutely. And what makes hard to work easier to find are the people doing it. And people connect with people. So if we've got more people, let's say like Jane, if we had another 20 photographers, because what was interesting in Jane's interview is she said there's so many different genres of photography that you can, that, you know, she didn't know about. Once she started learning more and qualifying, she said, I started to find my what worked for me and my niche. But there's so many other niches. So and you wouldn't know that if you just look at photography or being a photographer, then you might not see beneath the you know, all the different subheadings and different styles of work
It's
that
cameras and pictures, isn't it? What more could there
exactly,
be?
exactly. So there's so much to it, and that's the kind of thing that we can really, you know, help to lift the lid on for, exactly as you say, for industry associations, professional bodies, you know, or just collections of people doing the same thing or similar things.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking of, well, sort of earlier this month, I suppose it was, you know, we were thinking about, well, actually, this came from us thinking about how social media might flow
Yeah,
and how we can deal with the channel, how we can deal with people with not not creating a new conversation, but joining in existing conversations with our sort of people and work spin on things. And there
mm,
were two words that really stood out to
mm,
me, and that's discovery and understanding.
yeah,
And I think if we can really, you know, if they're our, you know, not wanting to sound too corporate, but if they're like, you know, if they're our core values about what we really, you know, if there's ever a question about what we're doing,
yeah,
and then we think, well, does it drive discovery or does it drive understanding? Then yes, we do
yeah,
it.
yeah,
And that, you know, I think that can be a theme that we can really push through Instagram or LinkedIn or
yeah,
Facebook or YouTube.
yeah,
You know, that's really, you know, for me, it felt like a bit of a revelation actually to have those two words finally
yeah.
associated with what people and work's all about.
Yeah, no, I think they fit the bill perfectly, and it also fits with, you know, if you remember our, you know, some of our first conversations with Carol at Ormiston Dean's Academy when she introduced us to that, you know, the it's hard to be what you can't see,
Yeah,
as a, you know, and discovery and understanding fits so well with that. So it's
yeah,
you know, we're really you know, it's really helping us to understand more about what we're doing as well, which is great.
mm, yeah. Well, and helps us explain it to other people because, you know, you've said this a few times. It's taken about a year for the penny to drop with me, but you know, it was interesting. You know, we had a session last week, didn't we, with Founders Pickle,
Yes. Yeah.
where they asked the interviewer, Omar, asked us, you know, from a number of perspectives to explain people on work and what we're
Yeah.
trying to do. And well, actually, I guess it probably uh, it presented the challenge of explaining it concisely,
Yes.
and and actually, it was a really useful bit of preparation because. Um, you know, hopefully we'll do many more media interviews, and I know
Mm.
you've been working on that, Paul. But having, you know, having a few keywords
Yeah.
to just make it really quick to explain what we're all about, just helps out, just makes it so much more efficient to get the message out there.
Definitely. Definitely. Yes. So you know, it's good practice for us, but it's also, as you say, it's helping us get better at talking about what we're doing. So that was podcast interview number one for the two of us, and I also interviewed for a podcast the week before that, and actually it was from somebody who's on our channel, Vivian Braidwood, and
Okay, yeah, 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 I
so
remember.
she's got her own podcast called Shades and Coffee, and she very kindly, you know, interviewed me for that, and that hasn't gone live yet. But once that goes live, I'll put a link to it in this video, as well as the Founders Pickle podcast interview with
Yeah.
Omar, or Dr. O, as he's called, which makes him sound a bit like a Bond villain, really. But yeah, we'll put the link in here as well.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. And what do you think March is going to bring?
Um, well, I think you know, if we think about the you know, the roadmap and the improving weather, so I think it's going to bring some good news like that. But I'm looking forward to, as you say, you got 2 new interviews with Great Torrington School, which is great. Hopefully we'll get some more Ormiston Dean's Academy interviews through as well. And then we're also working with Southmore Academy, aren't we? Who are up in the northeast. So we're working behind the scenes, but we've already got a good idea that we'll have some new interviews coming through there. I think the other thing.
I'll be back into Covent Garden Market Authority. Actually.
Excellent. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Hopefully in March. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good.
And into the field.
Excellent. Yeah, get back to that. And the other thing I'm hoping as well, because and this is you were saying before about people finding us. I got a note from somebody who found us, and I got a note through from the T-level placement authority, which is part of the National Apprenticeship Scheme. And T-levels, it's something very new, a bit like an apprenticeship, but for A-level age students who are still at school. So it's before they...
But also in work.
Absolutely. And so we would, we talked about this, it would be fantastic to be able to interview students doing T-level placements.
Yeah.
We've already got a couple of apprentices on our channel already. It'd be great to have more because especially when you're so close to the age of, let's say, for example, school students watching interviews, on our channel, if you've got people who are at sixth form and T-level placement age and apprenticeship age, you're only a couple of years ahead. So the connection you have with those students is going to be quite strong in that respect. So it'll be, I hope March will see those conversations moving forward a little bit too.
Yeah,
which would be great.
Excellent. Okay.
Fantastic. So we'll be back next month for our next roundup, and in the meantime, as we said at the beginning, it'd be great to get in touch with us to interview, and like our videos and subscribe to see more.